5 years ago, after a successful PMI chapter meeting, I was sharing martinis with my fellow board members, and we were just talking about patting ourselves on the back. What a great job we did with that meeting. And our brilliant and fearless president of the chapter at that time stood up on a bar stool and said, "I have a dream." We all thought he'd had way too much to drink. But then he shared an idea with us and introduced us to a very special gentleman who represented the nonprofit community in the DC area. And this business leader in the nonprofit community told us a story about not enough time to get the missions accomplished for these nonprofits, not enough resources to get things done, and of course, they never had enough money. Now, when I heard that story, I said, I've seen this movie before. Because as project managers, we live in the world of not enough all the time. And if there was a way that we could use all the skills that we learned as project managers to go make a difference in the nonprofit community, well, that could be magical. That was something I wanted to be a part of. I was inspired. And I don't know if it was the martinis I was drinking or the inspiration I was feeling, but I walked up to him and I said, "I'm going to help you make that happen." And then I had to figure out what the heck we were going to do. So we had this idea to bring together nonprofit organizations with project managers to solve their mission challenges, to help them figure out how to save the world. And so we gathered this team of volunteers, 40 of them, all project managers. A PMO of 40 project managers, all trying to solve a problem without any clear scope, with no budget. Imagine the not enoughs that I heard. I heard, well, we don't have enough time. We had set a target of Martin Luther King Day the following year, which was only 7 months away. And we had to figure out how we were going to do something that, quite frankly, had never been done before, to go make a big impact. But you see, it was more to me about not just solving their problems, but helping to spread the word that project management is a force to be reckoned with. You see, many of my colleagues had been in the position of accidental project manager, right? We kind of fell into this career and we were trying to figure out how to make something of that. In fact, there were so many people that were saying, you know what, I try to explain to my family what I do for a living and they just look at me like they have no idea. A little of that PM speak probably, huh? So we said, okay, well, honestly, I don't have all the answers. And when you're in a situation like that where it's the first time you're doing something, you gotta be brave enough to say, I don't have all the answers. But what I know is that there is no profession out there that has this power, this unique ability to help change the world as much as project management. And why is that? Because we are change. We create change and we deliver change. That's what we do for a living. So now fast forward 7 months, and here we are in this room with 100 nonprofit leaders in the DC area, with over 300 project managers. And all we were doing was scoping and planning projects. And you know, there wasn't a whole lot of fighting over what template we should be using, or this tool isn't good enough. And why was that? Because every conversation started with the nonprofit leader sharing, these are the veterans that you're going to house when we do this. These are the battered and abused women and children that have no safety, and we're going to give them that. This is our goal, to make sure that everybody has clean drinking water everywhere in the world. You see, the project managers heard the story of why. It was clear to them how what they were doing was going to make a difference. So when they walked out of the room after that day and I see tears streaming down their faces, I was terrified. Oh my gosh, what did we do? And then I started hearing the stories of the impact they were making. And I sighed with relief, thinking we did this. And if you talk to any of those project managers, any of them that were there on that first event, that first project management day of service event, so many years ago now, they will tell you that it was the highest impact day they have ever had as a project manager. And it was so simple. They were just focused on the outcome that they were going to achieve instead of being stuck in the outputs. And what we found out later was that that group of project managers, that team of 40 volunteers, and that group of 300 project manager misfits that were there just trying to make a difference, the effect we had on the DC area through the work we did was $1 million impact from one single day of project management. One day. Now fast forward another year, another conversation of not enoughs, another conversation of that we'll never be able to do that again. And we did it again. And again, and again, and again, and again. And now we're here 5 years later, and we're not talking about templates and tools and process. But we are inspiring communities around the world to unleash the power of project management on our local communities so that we can make a global impact. They're popping up in cities all around the US and around the world because project managers are seeing the power of our profession to be the change. So I ask you, as we go into this next exercise, as we think about how what we're talking about here can apply to each of you, as we look at what are those yeah buts and how would I address that, I ask you to answer this one question. What can I do using what I know to make an impact?